Floodplains are places of extremes. In the dry, they can have the appearance of lifeless expanses of cracked clay with a few stunted plants. In the wet, they turn into places rippling with life, with new plant growth and animals of all kinds making an appearance. Birds arrive in their hundreds, some species stopping by briefly on their way to distant shores, others meeting up to feed, find a mate and have babies. The first to arrive are wading birds that forage at the front of the floodwaters for spiders, insects and lizards that are flushed out of the cracked clay by the water. At the same time, zooplankton eggs float out of the soil and turn the water into a soup of microscopic crustaceans that feed the native fish brought in by the floodwaters. As fish levels rise, diving birds like cormorants and pelicans arrive to feast on the new food source. Close behind are raptors like whistling kites that patrol the sky watching for abandoned chicks and fish. The floodwater can last weeks, months or years before slowly evaporating, signalling the return of the cracked clay and quieter pace of life.
As a river detective, you can make some informed guesses about where floodwaters have reached on the floodplain, based on where different types of trees are growing. You tend to find river red gums in the parts of the floodplain that stay wet for longer and are closer to the main river channel because they like to keep their feet wet. Trees like the black box only get their feet wet every now and then, so you'll find them on the outer edges of the floodplain. The wet and the dry cycle is really important for both of these trees because they need the water to carry their seeds to new areas and soak them to kickstart growth. And they need the dry for the seeds to be deposited into the soil to grow.
While it might seem like there isn't much happening on the floodplain once the water dries up, this part of the cycle is actually a great time to spot some of the bigger animals in the park. You might find kangaroos, emus, lace monitors and echidnas. And there's always activity happening in the trees and shrubs. If you stay nice and still and keep an eye on the tangled lignum, you might be able to see fairy wrens flitting about, trying to catch an insect, or spot a lizard darting under its lower branches.
Some of my favourite things to notice about the floodplains are the things that you can hear. Whether it's the call of the whistling kite or the laugh of the kookaburra, the croaking of frogs, or the buzzing of bees as they pollinate the trees, you can learn a lot about who calls this place home just by listening.
See how many different sights and sounds you can discover in the floodplain environment.
You can focus on a small area and pay attention to all of the little details, or you can keep your gaze wide and look for movement to help work out who is hiding under the water, in the bushes, or among the canopy.